Well, hello there, everyone, and thank you for joining us for our weekly Essential Education live stream. My name's Jen. I get to be the Student Success Coach here at Essential Education. And today we're coming to you with one of my favorite topics because it does span what we say we are here to help you with. And that is this threefold section of study, work, and life. Today's topic definitely applies to all of those categories. Today, we are going to be talking about problem solving, the best way to problem solve for your test and in your studies, the best way to problem solve in work, in your career development, and the best way to build problem solving skills for life. We're going to talk about what problem solving is, how it applies to all three of those areas, and then give you six very important skill builders to better your problem solving skills. So let's first start, as we often do, with some definition, with adding some depth to our discussion. And that is in the form of what is problem solving? Well, it's solving a problem, right? You say, well, Jen, that's pretty self-explanatory. But let's break that down into three steps. Really, there are three things that you need to consider when solving a problem. And that is to identify the problem, figure out what it is, dig a little bit deeper and get to the root of that problem, the cause of that problem, or just what that problem is and maybe what we need to do about then creating an action plan to solve that problem. So problem solving in and of itself, yes, it's what it says. There's a problem and we need to solve it. But there's three steps in doing that. We have to figure out exactly what the problem is, because it's not always what we think it might be. We have to find the cause or get to the root, dig a little bit deeper. And then we need to create an action plan for solving that problem. That's the kind of that threefold approach to problem solving. And why is this important? Well, it's important in all three of those areas that we strive to help you be successful in. And those three are study, work, and life. We want you, as many of our students join us, we want you to be able to be an expert problem solver so that you can take on the GED or the HiSET and pass those high school equivalency exams to get that credential in hand, and then move forward to a wonderful career that you truly love. And guess what? When you get to that career, you're going to need to be a problem solver as well. Problem solving is always one of the top skills that employers are looking for. We've watched it over the last 5 years, and it doesn't seem like that's changing even in our ever-evolving job market. Employers want problem solvers. Why? Because problem solving is essential to critical thinking. Does that sound familiar for what you're studying for your GED and HiSET? Yep. Those same study skills that you're using to solve problems on the test are the same setup that employers want to see in the workplace, because good problem solvers, good critical thinkers are better team players. They work within a team. They work to say, okay, what is the problem at hand? What assets do we have here on the team? What strengths and weaknesses do we have to attack this problem and come up with the best solution? It's those people skills. Problem solving skills are people skills, because when you're a problem solver, you have the ability to read a situation. And what is that all encompassed in? Emotional intelligence. Your ability to read a situation is very, very close to your ability to read people and what those people need. People skills, problem solving skills, critical thinking skills, and teamwork skills continue to top the charts in what employers are looking for. And conveniently, for many of our students who are studying for the exams, those are the exact same skills that you need to be proficient on the test, to pass the test. And then whatever you learn in study and in work can also be applied to your everyday lives. Look, we all have busy lives, right? And I don't know about you. We all solve problems on a daily basis. I just got off a vacation last week and I've already hit the ground running today on this Monday morning. And I faced some problems. I faced some problems getting back into the groove. You know, when you're away from work or your regular routine for a couple of days, it can always feel a little sticky getting back into it. And so sometimes we have to be problem solvers in our lives as well. And that's not always a bad thing. It can be a good thing, and we can look at those obstacles that come up as an opportunity to learn and grow. So let's get into the bulk of our discussion today, and that is 6 steps for you to become a better problem solver. You say, well, Jen, all this sounds great. I know that I need it for my test. I know employers are looking for it, but how do I develop these problem solving skills? So let's walk through 6 steps. The first one, right there in that definition of what problem solving is, it's identifying the problem. It's asking yourself, okay, what is the actual problem? Because often we say, well, I know what the inconvenience is. I know what's stopping me from getting from point A to point B. I know what's in the way, but what is the actual problem? Is it simple? Is it a quick fix? Is it complex? Is a solution going to be just one thing? You just need to come up with one thing and then the problem solved? Or is it multiple steps? If in a team environment, does it involve everyone on the team? Does everyone need to agree? That can be a problem in and of itself, right? The problem itself, and then getting everybody in the team on board. All of those are essential to identifying the problem, IDing the issue at hand. In testing, that can be as easy as you restating the question in your own words. Because really, the questions on the test are the problems that you're being asked to solve, right? Now, if you're taking the GED, we know that those problems look very, very different from question to question. There may be multiple questions to answer within one problem. So again, is it one solution or is it a multi-step solution? We know those pesky word problems come up every now and then, and they will ask us one question, but as we back it up, we have to figure out multiple answers before we get to the answer to that one question. So sometimes in identifying the problem, we can say, oh, it's just one question. It's just one thing I have to do. Here's the answer. Boom, we can move on. Other times it's a little bit more complex and it will take us multiple steps. We have some wonderful new sessions coming up this month focusing on math, focusing on 3D shapes, focusing on some of the big problem solving skills in exponents and roots. And guess what? Many of those math problems are more than one step when we boil it down. So sometimes problem solving is just backing up and figuring out, okay, what is the exact problem I need to solve? And is it a one step or does it involve multiple steps to get there? And sometimes just restating the question out loud or in your head can be really, really helpful. What exactly is it that the test maker wants me to do or find? And what language are they using to do that? Are they giving me helpers? A lot of times they are. Remember, in our test taking tips and tools, we know that whenever we see the word accept or when we see the word not, then that test maker's not looking for something that's in the test, something we can find there on paper. They're looking for the exception to that. So we have to identify that problem in our head and say, oh, best. They're looking for the exception to that. And in work, if you're working with people, you know that problems are going to arise. What is the problem that that person really has? What is the problem that that client that you are trying to serve, that patron that comes into your office, what is the problem that they really have? Dig to get to the heart of that. And that might involve our second step in problem solving. It might involve doing a little bit of research. It might involve a little bit of fact finding on your part. Oftentimes, it will. Now, in testing, the fact finding that you do might be something that you're doing in your preparation, right? You're learning about your test. You're figuring out what kinds of things will be helpful for you to know in going in and answering these questions. You're building up that outside understanding so that you can think critically on your feet in the official exam environment. You're figuring out, hey, what are the questions going to look like that the test makers are going to ask me? We've already mentioned the GED having a lot of test question variety. If you're taking the HiSET, then there's one type of question that you really need to kind of have a plan of attack for, and that is the multiple choice question. Yes, multiple choice is still the primary question type on the GED as well, but it is the bread and butter, so to speak, of the HiSET, and we can help with that. We can help you work through a problem-solving checklist of how to specifically address those multiple choice questions. If you go back and check out our previous live coaching sessions, we have a whole session devoted to test taking tips and tools. And that is one of the things that we focus on there, because we know that understanding not just what the test makers will ask, but how they will ask it is a key to solving that problem. So that's in testing. In work and life, doing your research, digging a little bit deeper, doing some fact finding may involve asking questions. Hey, has this issue happened before? How did we solve it in the past? What's new about this particular problem than something that has happened in the past? Get that history, so to speak. Figure out how people have solved this particular issue in the past in your organization or in your business, and ask, did it work? Was that the best solution? Because if it is, then let's do something similar now. But if you are finding that what's been done in the past hasn't really worked, then now is your opportunity to shine as a problem solver, coming up with a new idea, thinking outside the box. Knowing what has happened in the past maybe didn't work is not a bad thing, because now you know that solution didn't work, so let's try another one. See, problem solving is often about trial and error. It comes in the form of looking at lots of solutions. Tip number 3, when you're problem solving, look at lots of solutions. Be creative, brainstorm. Even if you don't have a team to brainstorm them with, talk to yourself in your head, write out that pros and cons list on paper, get some ideas down, just so that you can say, okay, what are all the different possibilities, good, bad, and everything in between that we can use to solve this problem. And if you come up with a solution and it feels like, maybe that first idea, maybe it's not going to work. Maybe we start to put that into action and things don't really work with that. There's nothing wrong with a plan B. There is absolutely nothing wrong with the plan B. In a testing environment, I like to give the example of writing your essay. When I talk about brainstorming possible solutions, when you write that argumentative essay for the GED or HiSET, the test makers are looking for your ability to look at two different opinions on what? The same topic. So really, you're kind of looking at two different ideas to approach a problem, two different ideas to approach an issue. And the test makers are looking at, hey, can you evaluate those two different ideas? And can you tell me which one is the strongest solution to this problem? Which one is the strongest backing of this idea with details and evidence? And they want you to do that by proving that yourself, putting those ideas down on paper. So I often encourage students, yes, outline your essays. Put that main idea that you are going for. If you're taking the GED and you're supporting this author or this one, then state that out in your outline. Put those ideas, those details and evidence down on paper. Kind of walk through that. Is there strength there? Brainstorm that. Or maybe you're supporting the other author. Look for that. Is there strength there? Brainstorm that. And if you look at those ideas down on paper and you say, gosh, well, now that I see it down on paper, I thought I agreed with this author, but maybe it's this second author that I agree with. Nothing wrong with a plan B there. Just make sure that you are choosing the path that best answers the question and why. And then if you're writing for the HiSET, remember, it's all about your opinion. So you want to make sure that you stick with a strong opinion and you back it up with those details and evidence. And you might do the same thing as you start to write that essay. Well, I thought I agreed with this opinion, but maybe I don't. So let's look at some other details and evidence. Nothing wrong with the plan B. Be creative, brainstorm, look at those options, solutions to the problem. But if you need to change course, know that that's okay. And in a work and life environment, same thing. There are going to be problems that we try to solve that are just regular day-to-day problems, and there's going to be problems that have more significant consequences to what we play out with the answer. So there's nothing wrong with brainstorming, asking questions, getting lots of opinions if you're in a team environment. Learn from the mistakes of others. Go back and look at your research. Learn from the mistakes of the past so that you can make a good, solid, creative solution. And then when you make that solution, make it definitive. Make that decision. Narrow down your options. In testing, this is especially important, again, in that multiple choice testing environment. If you are given 4 or 5 different answer choices, the first thing you need to do is narrow that playing field, narrow down those solutions, and knock out the ones that are absolutely ridiculous. Problem solve. That's what this is, critical thinking and problem solving. If I look at these 4 solutions, 2 of them are absolutely ridiculous. They in no way answer the problem. What have you done there? You have just increased your possibility of answering that question correctly by 50%. You have doubled your chances of answering that question correctly because you got rid of half the questions that you knew weren't correct. In life and in work, it can be the same way. Get all those solutions down on paper. If you're in a team, let's brainstorm some of those solutions and then knock out the ones that for whatever reason just won't work for this situation. Narrow down your options so that you can make a quality decision. In a team environment, that may mean making a decision together. In a solo environment, you're owning that. You're owning the responsibility of that. So make sure that you are making a choice based on reason, on your critical thinking skills. And then put that answer into action. Avoid rushing. This is true in testing and in life. In a testing environment, yes, I know that that clock is ticking and we can feel like it's taunting us a little bit, but make sure you're not rushing. Make sure you're reading directions. Make sure that you are fully reading the question and you know what you're being asked to do and find. That's incredibly important in problem solving. If you miss that piece, then you've missed the biggest foundation that there is to problem solving. So don't rush. Narrow down based on reason and then make that decisive answer. And in life, when you make a decision and you're trying to problem solve something, be intentional. Don't leave it up to chance. Just say, don't leave it up to, I don't know, I guess we'll just see what happens. If you really want to own solutions to the problems that you face in your career and own your solutions to the problems that you face in your life, be intentional with your choices and put those choices into action with purpose. And then 6, I cannot say enough about 6, evaluate the outcome. Evaluate the outcome of your choices. What happened? How did it go? What happened after you made that choice? In a testing environment, you'll find out when you get that score report, right? And here's where you can really, really utilize your practice testing environment. For those of you that are striving to finish your GED and your HiSET, practice testing environments are a wonderful foundation to build really amazing problem-solving skills. If you do it correctly, if you do this 6th step correctly, because here's what most people do. I know because I used to do it all the time. I'll take a practice test and then say, oh, yeah, I missed 5. I guess I'll just study harder and try to do better next time. No, the problem solver, the expert that is building their problem solving skills, looks at that score report and they say, okay, I missed these 5. Let me go back and figure out what the answers were to these 5 questions. Oh, now I see the answers, but I don't really understand why this is the answer. I need to go back and dig into an answer explanation. I need to figure out why I missed this type of question so that I don't miss it again in the future. That's what the why student does when they are learning to be a problem solver in a testing environment. We have wonderful tools here at Essential Education to help you with that. If you're enrolled in our GED or a HiSET Academy, in our practice testing, in your digital homeroom, you will have the opportunity to click practice test details. And when you click into that, you will not just see the number that you missed, you'll see that, but you'll see where you can click to get extra answer explanation on why you missed that problem. And when you are making decisions in work and life, I want to encourage you to do the same thing. If you look at the solution to that problem and you say, okay, well, that really worked. I think we found the solution. Everybody walked away happy. Everybody got what they wanted. Then that's great. Mark that down as a win and remember that for next time if this problem comes up again. But if you're asking, hey, what worked, what didn't work, and you start to see, well, this could have gone a little bit better. This aspect of the problem solving with this customer or this client, or the problem solving internally with the team, that could have been better. It wasn't that we made a bad choice. It just could have been communicated differently, maybe, or we could have had some better follow up there. Whatever that is, learn from those mistakes. That is what problem solving is all about, whether it's in testing or it's your career or it's in life. Give those mistakes meaning. Have you ever heard that phrase, find purpose in your pain? It's not fun to make mistakes, is it? We all want to be expert problem solvers, but we wouldn't be here talking about how problem solving is an in-demand skill in all of these aspects of life if we'd had it all figured out, if there was a magic pill. So be a problem solver by continuously learning how to be a better problem solver. Dig into those mistakes, figure out what could have done better, and then act on that next time. Go back to that step 2. The next time that a problem similar comes up and you say, we've got some history here. I've got a time where I missed a similar problem on a test. I know what to do there. Oh, we've had a similar problem pop up at work or in my life in the past. I can use that as information. I can use that as power to move myself forward. Evaluate the outcome. It's the most important aspect of problem solving. And it comes with trial and error. And that's okay. That's what we're here for. No one is perfect. None of us goes through life without any problems. And when those problems come up, no one goes through life solving all of them right away and with ease. It's just part of being human. And it's actually, if we think about it, and we dig past the pain of messing up sometimes, it's one of the best things about being human, because we get to learn and we get to grow. We aren't just stuck as a robot would be in one continual pattern of making the same decision, one right after the other. Be a problem solver. It will make a difference in your studies. It will make a difference in your career, and it will make a difference in your life. And overall, as we often say, your success is our goal. And sure, many of you start with us in that capacity of getting ready to knock out those exams to get your high school equivalency credential. But we hope to continue to be your partner in education as we give you skills for lifelong learning on the job and learning in life in general. If you'd like to talk to a student advisor about your current enrollment and your student account and anything that's going on with that you might need to troubleshoot and problem solve today, then we have a whole team of student advisors who are more than willing to reach out and help you and walk you through that personally today. If you're saying, hey, well, this sounds pretty good, I'd like to learn more about how I can problem solve and dig into some of those practice test details, or have a partner in my job search and my job keeping, then we have a whole team, again, of student advisors that are ready to help you figure out what enrollment plan might work best for you. And you can reach them at 1-800-460-8150, or you can check out our student enrollment programs at essentialed.com/students. We hope today's information has been helpful. It's one of the things that we are passionate about, because problem solving is one of those things that will help you not just see your goals, but accomplish your goals. And because your success is our goal, then we want to give you encouragement and support for that journey. Let us know if you need anything at all. Don't hesitate to reach out. We're here for you. You can do this, and we can help. Take care.